Hello, viewers. This is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary Series, and it looks like Black-White Eldrazi versus, oddly enough, Green-Blue Scales. I haven't seen a Green-Blue Scales deck yet. Usually, if they go into blue, they run Bant. So maybe he's just missing his white, but we don't know yet. So far, he has a 2/2 Hangerback Walker and a 5/4 Avatar of the Resolute, his Hardened Scales, and he just threw down a Managorger Hydra. And Eldrazi has a Matter Reshaper. And he did play Transgress the Mind and got rid of a Nissa Voice of Zendikar. All-out attack from Scales. I would have thought that he would have wanted to hold back the Hangerback Walker, but then again, if he blocks, they both die, and he gets Thopter tokens, which are much harder to deal with. And it does look like he's going to do that block. So they'll both die. Scales will get two 1/1 Thopters, and Eldrazi will get to look at the top card, possibly put it into play, otherwise he'll get to draw it. Caves of Koilos, so straight into play. So 5 damage, he's down to 14. Trying to think, what would be a good play here? Walker of the Wastes. So he's a 4/4 trample that gets +1/+1 for every land called Wastes that you control. He controls 3, so it's a 7/7. And honestly, I run this in my own mono black Eldrazi deck just for the sheer boost. I mean, he's a decent creature as a 5-drop 4/4 trample, but when you know you're running basic wastes, one makes him a 5/5, 2 6/6, 3 7/7, and it just escalates in how much better he gets. So Scales plays Lead by Example. Not something I've seen anyone play before, but 2 mana, support 2. He gets to put a +1/+1 counter on up to 2 target creatures. So he makes one Thopter a 3/3 and buffs up the Avatar to a 7/6. And the Hydra is now a 5/5. So attacking all in except for the Hydra. I'm guessing he's hoping that he'll block with the Walker so that they'll trade. And Eldrazi takes 4 from the Flyers. And he's still looking at a pretty bad situation. He needs to kill this Managorger Hydra. Ultimate price. Oh, Eldrazi Displacer is actually really good here because it neutralizes the Managorger Hydra. I was just gonna run the list of kill cards, Ultimate Price, Murderous Cut. Wow, I can't think of the little guy. The 2/1 flyer that can't block. That if you pay the extra cost, they have to sacrifice a creature. That wouldn't work very well here because then he just sacrificed the Thopter token. But he had plenty of options of dealing with the Managorger Hydra, and Displacer is one of the trickier examples. And it's actually kind of funny because, every turn he can effectively reset the Hydra, and if he lets it go long enough, he can do it on Scales' turn so that he's tapped down for Scales' turn and his own turn. Heir of the Wilds. That'll make the Hydra 3/3. Still a pretty bad situation because Displacer takes a lot of mana to make this work. But Scales is attacking all in. He's throwing the Hydra in there too. At this point, with Eldrazi down to 9, he's going to take 4 regardless. And he chooses not to block, so he's down to 2. And if he had decided to block the Hydra with the Displacer, it would have saved him 3 damage, but, Scales wouldn't have minded because his Thopters were going to get through for free regardless. So, Displacer blinks out the big Thopter. And if you're going to blink the Hydra, wait until his turn. Okay, never mind. He decides to concede instead. It was a pretty bad spot to be in. The Thopter was going to get through for free. Hydra was probably going to be a 5/5. And attacking in next to him was a 3/3 Death Touch. So, most likely he was going to die in the next attack regardless. So, let's go to game 2. Okay, so turn 1 hardened Scales from Scales. Turn 2, Servant of the Scale maybe? Otherwise, he's just going to have to pass back. Yep, Servant of the Scale, that'll be a 2/2. And now would be the perfect time for Eldrazi to kill it with something like a Spatial Distortion. But he doesn't respond, so turn 3, 3 mana, Matter Reshaper. Turn 3 for Scales can be a little bit more varied. He could throw down an Avatar of the Resolute here, Mana Gorger Hydra. I was just about to say Abzan Falconer, but he's not running white. Hangerback Walker. And there's the Mana Gorger Hydra. Attacking in with the Servant. Take the 2 damage because you don't want to make the Hydra a 4/4 straight away. And turn 4, Thought-Knot Seer. Gonna let you to get rid of a card. No, Titan's Presence, revealing Thought-Knot Seer. So he's gonna exile the Mana Gorger Hydra. So no more headaches from the Hydra, unless he plays another one. And we know that he has a Thought-Knot Seer in his hand, so next turn he can play that. Or, if he has another land, he could throw down Reality Smasher, or, there are a combination of things that he could do. Matter Reshaper's attacking in for 3. So Scales will be down to 17. Eldrazi's at 18. What is the point of playing blue in this deck? I'm wondering. Because I'm not really come to mind anything really good other than maybe some draw card. So Avatar the Resolute attacking in with the Servant for 2. Avatar's a 5/4. So Thought-Knot Seer? Maybe another Titan's Presence to get rid of the Avatar? And Thought-Knot Seers. So now we will get to see what is in Scale's hand. Gets rid of Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, leaves him with double Heir of the Wilds. And double Heir is actually not a bad thing, since he has a 5/4 creature. If he gets them both on the board, next turn he can attack in with both of them, and they'll both be 3/3 Death Touch. And that's what he does. He throws down both of the Heir of the Wilds. Now, if he wants to be aggressive, he could attack all in here. Because, just the Avatar. Throws the Matter Reshaper in front of it. So, Avatar will live and trample over for 3. So, Eldrazi goes down to 13, but he gets the Matter Reshaper trigger. What does he find? Maybe a Reality Smasher? Though, facing off against a couple of Death Touchers, Reality Smasher isn't the greatest right now. Finds a Caves of Koilos, just like the last time. Now he really doesn't need any more land. But the great thing about the Matter Reshaper trigger was that he got that off the top of his deck. If it weren't for the Matter Reshaper, he would have just drawn a land this turn. So now would actually be a really good time for another Titan's Presence, provided he had another creature in his hand that was big. Oh, that's a lot of mana. A 7/7 Endless One. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting some other flavor of Eldrazi. But he is up to 7 mana. So that does open up quite a few options for him. Something like Oblivion Sower, maybe? He does have Corrupted Crossroads, so he could be playing with Worldbreaker. Drowner of Hope. Attacking in with both of the Heir of the Wilds, that'll turn them both into 3/3s. They both have Death Touch. So, take the 6 and go to 7, or block and lose a creature or both creatures. And he's going to double block, so trades all around, no damage gets through, and Scales gets to draw a card. And now Eldrazi has no board. And we still haven't seen any real reason for Scales to be running blue. I mean, unless he's running like Dig Through Time or Treasure Cruise or things like that. I mean, we haven't seen any counter spells from him. We haven't seen any like combat tricks of tapping things and making them not untap and stuff like that. We haven't seen any blue creatures from him. Titan's Presence on the Servant of the Scale. Revealing Walker. Oh, I see. I was going to say, why'd you do that? His creature is only 4 power, and Avatar's a 5. At least this way, it gets rid of a creature. Waiting on Scales to decide what he's going to do here. 3 mana, he can't Disdainful Stroke. He could Stubborn Denial because he does have a 5/4. Lash of Wills wouldn't work. Scatter to the Winds. And there's the Stubborn Denial. The one blue card that we've seen from him. And back to Scales. So he's got 7 power on the board right now. We know that he has plenty of things like Nissa, who can make more +1/+1 counters. That is 11 damage. If he has that support card, he would have just won the game right there. But attacking all in here. knocks Eldrazi down to 2, and honestly, I don't really think Eldrazi has it here. And he concedes. So, not the greatest game, but interesting, because I'm still wondering about why you would play blue-green scales with so few blue cards when you could run Bant scales and get all the benefits of green-white scales with the added benefit of your few blue cards that it looks like you're running. But that was blue-green scales versus